Tom Kendall here from the Permaculture Research Institute Sunshine Coast. We're here at our property, Mungareedah, a local Aboriginal name for place of food. In this section behind me here, which we're going to move into directly, we've set up a permanent chook tractor system. So there's going to be 4 cells. There is 4 cells that will rotate in the growing process and then the harvest process, obviously, and then a chicken process. So the chickens will prepare this ready for the next crop to be planted. And so it's going to be a structured system, structured on time. And it's hopefully going to increase, one, food for us, but also be able to utilise the chickens to help prepare the land and fertilise the soil to grow food for themselves. So here we have the 4 cells, we're calling them at this stage. We'll give them a bit more terminology later. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 1, the soil that I have here that I've brought in for this is a decomposing organic matter pile that had up behind here from when we first came here. So that's 10 years of accumulation of whenever I pulled down trees or pulled out lantana and any organic matter that's excess and been too rough to compost down, I put in a big pile and allowed to break down over a long period of time. And most people would just burn this organic matter, but I've chosen not to do that. I've left it in a pile and it's made a soil. And so I've been keeping that ready for this occasion. So I brought the soil in and then we've constructed the yards. They're 25 square metre yards, give or take. And now we're going to set up a program of how to grow and have the chickens work these. So we'll start with number 1 because the soil in there is better. I know the soil is bare and getting dry at the moment, but we're going to get onto that this week. We're going to sort this out. But number 1 we're going to plant up this week, and then number 2 will be planted 6 weeks later, and number 3 will be 6 weeks after that, and 4 6 weeks after again, so that we have this rotation go through. And then by that time we'll be wanting to plant out number 1 6 weeks after number 4, and that is the important part of the process, that we have this specific date that we plant on. So it gives us 6 months to grow, harvest, and then repair, rebuild, and by using the chickens to do the work. Now what we have here is a laneway that I've put in beside the system, and that's leading to another process altogether. So what we have here is the material that's come out of the biodigester and been stored in the compost pit of the biodigester. It hasn't had enough time to compost. It's quite moist. But this material we've been processing further back using the chickens. However, it wasn't intensive enough. Out of our 30 chickens, only about 5 or 6 would go up there, and they wouldn't work it as quickly as I would have liked them to. And also we were getting contamination with a weed called nutgrass, and I don't want nutgrass being reintroduced into my garden. So I know I've done it before. I've had chickens in an enclosed area and they haven't allowed the nutgrass to survive. After 3 years there was no nutgrass left. It just they persisted on it so much, not allowing it to grow, that it phased out. So with that understanding, we've designed this area here, and what we'll do is in another week's time this material will be brought over to here. It's still quite wet because we had rain, but it'll be brought over to here, and then the next lot will be brought in. So we're bringing it from the biodigester, which is not so far away. Before it was quite a distance. Comes into here, gets processed over about 4 or 5 piles over maybe 50 or 60 days, and then it goes to the garden, or maybe even into these gardens. So we're utilising the chickens to process this. Now in the configuration of setting this all up so that's in the relative location near to the biodigester, near to the chickens, which is near to the house or the edge of zone 1, to get this configuration to work for this, I didn't want too big a yard because then the chickens are not going to impact it enough. To get them to impact it well, we're going to actually make the chickens stay in this main area. They'll have access to one, maybe two of those at a time in that process, but they'll have access to this, and then come maybe midday or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll open the gate so they can go out and forage in the main system. So it's going to be a managed impact, biological resource, timing and management, very crucial points. In the configuration, I ended up with this space at the back here. And so that's given us another option, maybe a bit of diversity in the system. I didn't want to just cut that off and then have a blank spot. I continued the fence and made this yard, and then that can either be another one of these cells. We could do that in parallel in time with these cells, or maybe we might change the cells and have a 5-cell rotation. And so that's just given us another option, and I like to have these different options from there. And then from this whole system there will be nutrient bleeding out of this system because we get excess rain at times. We've done a water management so it's going to be minimalised, but from this we'll actually have another option of what can we do with what bleeds out here, that energy that bleeds out of here. So it's pretty exciting to do all this. The volunteers on the property are very interested in what's going on here because it's a whole learning curve. I haven't done this integrated system myself before, but some of the people have, so they want to bring their ideas into it. As part of what we do here, the Research Institute, we're learning how to do things, we're incorporating things, and to get better productivity and getting the elements in the system to actually create a system. It's all good and well having these multifunction elements, but we need them to integrate with each other to make a production that's a cyclic system, and we being part of that cycle as well. So thanks again for watching. We have courses here, so just check out our website. We also do practical courses where you can actually help to set these systems up, get that knowledge of understanding how to use tools, how to use local resources, recycle materials, and on. Lots of different things happening, so come and join us and check it all out.